Eric here with DeFi IoT. Hey, I want to jump into something real quick. Is copper the new gold? That's the headline of this article from The Street. And I'm not going to jump in and say right now that copper is going to overtake gold anytime soon. However, I think we should read this article because I do think there's something here, and I've heard this before. It's not the first time that I've heard this, and this is why it caught my eye when I was scrolling down what I wanted to read and study this morning. And I saw that, and I thought, I just want to read and see what it says. I want to share this with you. This year, money has been moving into copper as part of a continuum process that results in power generation, right? So all these data centers are going to be being built over the next year, couple of years, especially getting ready for AI and Web 3.0. So all these data centers are going to require a lot of electricity, right? So there's actually, Georgia's actually vying to try to get some of these data centers to come into Georgia because they create their own electrical plants. And that is going to really draw up a lot of copper. Also, let's go and read here. The demand for power generation is growing because of all the energy needed for the data centers, where artificial intelligence applications are trained and live. Getting power to where it needs to be requires generators, transmission lines, transformers, switches, regulators, and the various measuring devices. And that means miles and miles of wiring connecting everything together. That wiring is made of copper. Goes on to talk about the history of copper, what it was used for historically. And historically, it was always sort of a precious metal, but used for other things, not electricity, right? Some things, tools, or even some weaponry. It was there, even though it's a soft metal, it was some weaponry. I see that in my archaeological studies as well. And then in the 19th century, copper becomes, part of economic development, like especially where we see it in our homes for electricity, right? I want to jump here to, as of May 3rd, let's look at this real quick. The price of copper on the London Metal Exchange and the Chicago Mercantile Exchange is up more than 17% this year, 2024. Chicago close of May 3rd was $4.55 and some change a pound, up 1.6 the day, but down 2.9 from the week, blah, blah, blah. The U.S. Copper Index Fund, CPR, organized to invest in the metal, it's up 17.5% this year. So that's a fund to set aside just investing in that metal. Look at this here. Copper, like an industrial commodity, gets hammered in slowdown. So we all remember this too, right? Look at this. It fell below $2 a pound in 2008. Today's what, $4.55, some change. During the financial crisis, 2008 fell to $2 a pound, and $2.16, 2020 during the pandemic, right? So it fell. Gold falls, silver falls, but I think we're on a different pendulum right now. I think things are going to become different. I strongly feel and urge you to consider this. The governments are buying up these resources. Copper is going to be one of them. We'll read here that there's even governments buying up resources. These resources are being bought up, even farmland, etc. There's a colluded effort from the World Economic Forum to control every aspect of our life. The only way we're going to get around that, and even if we're talking about crypto, if we have to have a digital ID to sign into internet, then it's going to be very difficult for us to get around that to be able to trade in crypto, right? But precious metals, and that's another thing when you have to, you buy them and store them and hold them physically. And if you're going to do it, that's the way you really need to do it. It's not financial advice, but I mean, come on. If you're going to buy into a stock with gold or so forth, you are paying, I don't remember what the actual percentage is there, but it's like only 20% or 30%. Let's say 40%, but I don't think so. I think it's at 20%. I'm not going to say that. Maybe 40% of the people that own those shares, there's one and a half or two more people that own that same share. In other words, that same gold, different share, but that same gold is behind that share. That makes sense because they don't feel that everybody's going to make a run on those shares when selling them, the gold shares, all at once. Now, in a crisis, that will happen. So that's very short-sightedness. So what's the best way to have it? Well, figure out a way to hold it. Figure out a way to have it on hand, I guess. I'm not saying that that's something I do a lot. I try to dabble stuff, but I definitely don't keep it here, right? Especially where I record or anything like that. But I have other places and so forth that we work out that we have our places. We have to move around, right? So that's an idea too. You can divide it up and not keep it all in one place. It's hard to carry when you get your precious metals, but that's going to require some trust as well on some other people's parts as well, right? So you have to make sure that it's people you can count on and rely on. Anyway, so back to copper. Copper has industrial use as well as silver does, and I think that's another area we should be looking. Still relatively inexpensive, silver is. Gold's at an all-time high, but I wouldn't deny I'm still buying gold even where it's at now, because I don't know how much more it's going to come back down. I mean, I think it's going to continue to go up. I'm sure it's going to have its corrections, right? But I just, man, if with the digital dollar coming out, all these precious metals are being gobbled up, especially gold and silver, right? And so copper is going to be right there, I feel, too. Maybe it's not going to make it like, it's not going to replace gold, but if copper can get itself up to where it's $2, even $4, and you can get it for less than that, then it's something to buy and hold, because it's something that is used in the future. And this future is only going to need more electricity. Well, if you like these kind of videos, I'll put the link down below here. Do me a favor, like and subscribe, please, down below, because we need to get this channel up and rolling again. I want to end with this about this. Let's see, one little copper boom and busts. Yeah, okay, the slump in China, copper mining. So slump in China began with a COVID-19, okay, left the copper prices stagnating for a few years. That's true, okay? But then we saw this increase now since we've opened up again. Whoever buying copper during pandemic, which I was a little bit, not enough though, you know, you doubled your money already. And that's my point. It's kind of like buying a meme coin, but a stabilized meme coin. I guess wouldn't be compared to Doge, because not you can get more out of Doge, but maybe Shiba, right? I don't know. I'm just giving it a play in here. I want to just finish with this. All this means that demand for more copper, right, is on the horizon. And this is what this whole article is breaking this down to, is the amount of massive projects that are going to be built in the U.S. and other areas during the next couple of years. They're going to require copper. So probably going to see copper prices, even wiring and cables and plugs, go up over time. But my point is this. So copper right now is up to 36% a year at its compounded rate. Depends on where it's at. Up 17% on the year so far in its fund. I just think it's something you can pick up around scrapyards, because people aren't really seeing it yet. So it's an early on, and it's what you're going to have to keep in mind is you got to be the first in to really take advantage of it. What if you're the first in Bitcoin? Even the first in Doge right now. Go figure. DiFiot. We'll talk to you in our next video.